With a name like Antman, it can be hard to take this superhero seriously. What could he possibly do in a fight when Iron Man is flying around and Spider-Man slinging webs? Turns out Antman has a lot to offer. This often overlooked character has a powerful arsenal of skills and abilities, and we're here to showcase them all. Why not slide on over to the subscribe button for the CBR channel? One click on the red button means videos delivered to your inbox daily.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
Enhanced durability. The MCU and the comic books have variations on the abilities of superheroes. Sometimes a specific capability that is not ordinarily displayed in the comic books gets upgraded into the films. With the change of Hank Pym to Scott Lang, Ant-Man got an upgrade in the durability category.
We don't have a choice.
Well, it's not entirely true. I think I found a guy.
In the film, when Scott Lang shifts into Ant-Man form and uses the Pym Particles to decrease in size, his durability is amplified. He reaches near invulnerability while in a fraction of the size. Which you may be saying to yourself, how is that possible that something so small can be so sturdy? Shouldn't I be able to squash a bug? This relates to the fact that Scott Lang's density and mass don't decrease when shrinking. In fact, his mass and density is higher relative to his size. This capability is very important when Ant-Man is engaging an opponent. When he's fighting Yellow Jacket in his daughter's bedroom, his durability is challenged because he is engaging with an equal. However, when he's fighting the guards, they don't stand a chance. A normal-sized person is stunned by the impact of Ant-Man. He may be tiny, but he packs a powerful punch and can last a long time.
What is it, cash? Jules?
There's nothing here.
What'd you say?
It's a suit.
Entering other planes of existence. When talking about Ant-Man, there are two characters in the Marvel Universe, both in comics and in film, who have worn the suit. The mantle of Ant-Man first came to life through the scientific genius of Hank Pym. Later, once he was no longer a superhero, the suit and powers got handed down to Scott Lang.
Why don't you wear the suit?
You think I don't want to? I can't.
It was Hank Pym who discovered the Pym Particles. They are subatomic particles that enable the user to lose or gain mass depending on the size he or the specific objects he uses need to achieve. You're saying, yeah, but we already know that. What you don't know is the key to this change is in the form of alternate dimensions. When Ant-Man shrinks to a submicroscopic size, 99% of his mass was extra-dimensionally shunted. Little did you know he was being sent to a place called the Microverse. It also is known as the quantum realm, where time and space are irrelevant. It turns out this universe is one of many, and it can be only assessed by Earth superheroes who undergo the shunting process. This means Ant-Man is one of the very few super beings who can access this universe. Who else in the MCU does tremendous shrinking as part of their powers? No other superheroes come to mind.
Oh. This is the work of gypsies.
That's witchcraft.
Change size at will. Hank Pym is the inventor of the Marvel Universe's subatomic particles known as the Pym Particles. These are rare molecules that, when isolated, allows the manipulator to alter the size and mass of both themselves, other living creatures, and objects. They were originally used to only decrease the size of people and objects. When the particles were altered to allow for an increase in size. As noted in the second entry, this is done through entering a different plane of existence. In its original form, the transformation had to take place through physical intervention. This is part of the reason Hank Pym developed the Ant-Man suit, to allow for the rapid change in size and not alter the user's body composition. The particles were put into a liquid elixir. Later, the form changed to a gaseous mixture. Over time, it was discovered that despite the suit, Ant-Man's body was exposed to the Pym Particles. This resulted in a mutation of the genetic code. The body began to produce its own particles. This phenomenon results in Ant-Man being able to change his size at will. This could even happen spontaneously. Imagine the day he discovered he could do that. We bet he didn't see that coming. Telepathic communication. When you're the size of an ant, it can be difficult to be heard. The tinier you become, your voice is lowers to a whisper. Also, when you're a human trying to interact with ants, there is a language barrier that exists. Ant-Man is an enhanced being that uses technology as the center of his powers. It isn't like he was raised by a tribe of ants as a child and speaks their language.
No! No! Stop!
Hank Pym realized the inability to properly communicate with the ants and insects was going to be a challenge. When you're the size of this insect and battling normal humans, or even creatures as big as the Incredible Hulk, you may need them to hear you. Being a member of them, like the Avengers, means having to communicate, especially during a fight. You may need to ask a gang of ants to come rushing to your aid, which is why scientist Hank Pym developed a helmet for rudimentary communication. Utilizing cybernetic technologies, the helmet amplifies the ability of the user to interact with ants and other insects in the hierarchy. It generates electromagnetic impulses to mimic ant pheromones. Ant-Man's able to persuade the ants through this manipulation to perform tasks to assist in battle and other needs.
I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss!
Goliath form. As we talked about earlier in the video, initially, Ant-Man could only shrink down in size, which makes total sense with a name like Ant-Man. These insects are small insects, so shouldn't the superhero who uses their name also be small? When Ant-Man shrunk, he usually chose to reduce his height to approximately 1/2 inch. He remained there until he needed to either grow bigger or return to normal height. How did he get back to this regular size? Hank discovered a version of the Pym Particles that caused him to grow to gigantic heights. While size reduction forces Ant-Man to shunt mass into the extra dimension, enlarging requires him to take on mass from the dimension. The mass he gains allows his bones and tissues to support the increased weight. In his Giant Man version, he can grow several hundred feet tall. He can exceed the height of even the tallest buildings in New York City. Fun fact, Ant-Man, when in giant form, can expand into a place called the Overspace, a place apart from other realities. This is the opposite realm of the microverse, and very few entities can travel here as well. Ant-Man is one of the few superheroes who can visit both.
Yeah, this is Michelini. I need backup.
Super genius. When you think of the Marvel Universe's elite scientists and inventors, whose names jump into your head? You probably think of the Starks, Tony, and his father Howard. Howard had several contributions to early technologies. Tony spearheaded Stark Industries and profoundly impacted the MCU with inventions like the Iron Man armor, while expanding artificial intelligence throughout the world's defense systems. Do you think of Hank Pym? It's easy to overlook this individual because in the MCU, he isn't the focus of the Ant-Man film. He's passing the mantle down to Scott Lang, and eventually his daughter. It would be foolish to count out Hank when it comes to super geniuses of the Marvel Universe, both on film and in the comics. A counterpart of Howard Stark, Pym is one of the most foremost biochemists and an expert in several other scientific fields like cybernetics, entomology, and subatomic physics.
Dr. Pym?
Yes, I'm still alive.
Fun fact, in the MCU, Tony Stark is credited with inventing Ultron. However, in the comic books, it's Hank Pym who created the robot Ultron. Does this change the way you feel about Stark and Pym now? Super Inventor. We have talked about Dr. Pym being one of the foremost scientists of the Marvel Universe. As a scientist, we know he discovered the legendary Pym Particles. As a result, he unlocked extra-dimensional worlds that were unknown to the superheroes of the MCU. Being smart doesn't mean you always apply yourself. You can be the most intelligent person in the room and never contribute a successful thing. Not Pym. Not only was he a genius, he was a master inventor as well. Pym's technological advancements significantly impacted the Avengers, Doctor Strange, and many other superheroes. His legacy continues to resonate in the pages of the comic books and on screen. Hank pioneered the implementation of synthetic stem cells into humans to cause growth of insect organs. The most well-known are wasps' wings. He created the Infinite Avengers Mansion. It is significant because the headquarters can transport a person from one place to another, regardless of where they are. His holographic technology is some of the best in the world. It's so good it fools Ultron's sensors. He built a transportation device called Rover for the Avengers. As an inventor, he stretches the limits of imagination and turns it into reality. Enhanced strength. We've established there are two specific forms Ant-Man can transform to. He can shrink down to 1/2 inch size and he can grow into a giant. When fighting in his reduced form, Pym retains his normal strength and capabilities despite his size. The physical transformation generates substantial momentum and force, which can be harnessed by Ant-Man. Like in the Ant-Man film, during a fight with a normal-sized person, Ant-Man can undertake superhuman feats. In addition, during his size transition, Ant-Man can accumulate great force and direct himself at a person or object. It's like when an object falls from a great height, gaining speed and strength as it moves. When he's in his giant form, his strength and stamina are greatly increased, courtesy of additional mass. Depending on his size, his strength varies. At 10 feet tall, Ant-Man can lift 1,000 pounds. At 25 feet tall, he can move upwards to 10 tons. If he's got to be 100 feet tall, Ant-Man would be able to lift 50 tons. We're talking Incredible Hulk proportions. The Ant-Man suit is made of synthetic stretch materials, which automatically adapts to whatever size Ant-Man becomes. Which is a good thing, because a rapid change from ant to giant would certainly tear a hole in his pants, no matter how strong he is.
Cap's not hiding.
Who'd you learn that from? Your ant buddies?
Who else?
Fly on back of ants. One of the vulnerabilities of being Ant-Man in his shrunken form is transportation. When you're half an inch tall, you're not able to sprint great distances. All the objects around you are insanely bigger relative to your new size. How do you get from place to place? If you shrunk down and found yourself on the ground, but needed to, say, get into a car, how would you get there? Maybe you'd cling to a human's leg and hope it carries you where you needed to go. You could get into the car as normal size and then shrink down. However, that may ruin the element of surprise you were hoping for. Being small has major disadvantages, which is why Ant-Man needed to come up with a reliable mode of transportation. Enter Core, a winged ant. What better way to be mobile than learning to ride on the back of a flying ant? It allows you to remain ant-sized. The insect can ably maneuver through a battle nearly undetected and get into places no other creature can. Flying is also faster than running or any type of land-based vehicle. Ant-Man could call upon Core to come swooping in whenever he needed his help. Skilled combatant. One of the most important skills a superhero must have is the ability to fight and defend. If you can't throw a punch, you should probably find a new job, or think about being the guy back at headquarters who gasses up the jet for everyone else. What you didn't know is Ant-Man is very skilled in various forms of hand-to-hand combat. When he's in his giant man form, he may not need to use his unarmed combat skills as much. He could simply outpower everyone else in his path.
Okay, tiny dude is big now. He's big now.
When Ant-Man is in his normal, everyday size, being able to fight is important. He doesn't always go into battle as a smaller size. He may be suited up, but that doesn't mean he'll transform, which means he must be able to engage his opponents competently. If he does shrink, Ant-Man uses his enhanced fighting skills to assault his opponents in unexpected points on their body. This creates imbalance and confusion in the foe. Ant-Man was trained in fighting styles by none other than Captain America. This training makes him a formidable fighter. We couldn't think of anyone better to have as a teacher. Styles of fighting include karate, judo, and wrestling. Combining his skills with increased strength and durability, Ant-Man is a formidable opponent during a fight.
You don't bite me, I don't step on you. Deal?
What do you think? Does this change the way you think of Ant-Man? Would you pick him to be on your team now that you know all the things he can do? Let us know in the comments below. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and check out more awesome videos from our playlist. And if you liked our video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching.